No matter where you work, you could be discriminated against. In fact, half of all American workers said they either were discriminated or they saw someone in their office get discriminated just last year. So there's over 100 million workers in the US, meaning that over 50 million workers actually saw or experienced discrimination. And the federal government is not exempt. Recent data shows that in 1 year, there were 14,000 complaints by government workers, and a total of $66 million was paid out. The number of findings is different from the amount of people that reported. Like we talked about, thousands of people reported, but they only found a little over 200. They found that to be legitimate discrimination. So let's take a deeper dive and find out exactly what people are being discriminated against. 7,500 people claimed to be discriminated based on retaliation. And this could be because they were a whistleblower, or they had something negative to say about their supervisor. I've seen one of these cases in an agency before where an individual didn't want to do the work. They're like, hey, this isn't right. This isn't morally correct. I shouldn't have to do this. And they take a stand and they go over the supervisor's head. They go to the supervisor's boss and they start telling them, hey, this guy isn't doing it right. And then the word gets back to the supervisor and there's retaliation. All of a sudden, you're getting negative performance reviews. You're getting put on negative type of assignments. You're working a little bit later, things like that. 4,200 claimed age discrimination. So this is a question I get quite frequently. People ask me, how is age discrimination in the government? And one of the first things I always say, if you look at the private sector, you look at the government, age discrimination happens more in the private sector. The average age of a federal employee, it's higher by a lot, by many years in the federal government. So that's one thing to consider when you're trying to choose. Maybe you're in your 50s, maybe you're in your 60s. I would say that you are more likely to encounter a positive environment in the government. Okay, so 3,900 claimed race discrimination. Now, throughout my time in the government, I've seen a mix and a blend of all races, of all cultures. It's almost the same as when I was in the military, where you have pretty much a little bit of everything. But usually I think when the race discrimination comes into effect, it's because your direct supervisor is of one race and you are of another race, and you feel like they're using that, or that's one of the reasons why they don't like you or they're showing contempt towards you. Okay, so 3,600 claimed sex discrimination and 4,200 claimed disability discrimination. Now, these numbers do not add up to 14,000 because some of these people actually filed multiple times. It wasn't just, hey, this is sex discrimination. Maybe it was, hey, this is disability, sex, and ageism. So you will see at times multiple reports from the same individual. Okay, so if we do the math, we have over 2 million federal government employees and we have 14,000 complaints. So that's less than 1%. And that doesn't seem too bad unless you're one of the 14,000 that actually had a complaint. Now, not everybody was awarded money, obviously. What the government likes to do, what it tries to do, is go through ADR, which is alternative dispute resolution. And this is when you take the employee and the supervisor or whoever they're having the issue with, and you enter in a neutral party, and then they're able to discuss and talk and reach mutual compatible terms, so it doesn't have to go to litigation. And by using ADR, over half of the complaints were resolved. Now, to get an idea on the money and how it was awarded, you can take the 244 findings, divide that by 66 million, and you end up with $270,000 on average for each individual. But the math isn't always so clean. It's not done exactly like that. You have to consider the $66 million is also paying attorney fees, damages, and lump sum payouts. So only half of the money was actually given in a lump sum. The $66 million is not the only cost to the government, because there's the cost to conduct the investigation. When there's a finding, there needs to be an investigation for the finding to even exist. So the government paid over $50 million just to conduct all of these investigations. So the net total cost to the government dealing with discrimination was over $100 million last year. And despite this cost and despite this number's actually gone down. It's been steadily decreasing over the last 3 years. So this can be seen as progress, as a good thing. And all of this information, all this data comes from EEOC. They have a report annually. And I'll leave a link to the report down below if you want to dig a little bit deeper into it. So according to statistics, there's a good percentage of you right now watching that have been discriminated against, or you've witnessed it. And if that's the case, let me know down below. Now, if you're watching and you haven't been discriminated in a government job because you don't have a government job, maybe you want a government job. If you want to know why a lot of people are considering or actually getting government jobs now, I want to share that with you, and you can learn about it by watching this video next. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.